And we are live. Welcome, everybody. It's really good to be back. It's my first time doing a live stream on Sunday. Please let me know in the comment section is you can see everything and you can hear everything. Everything is fine. If everything is fine, I'm going to start to introduce our guests today, directly from Israel, Mr. Avner. Mr.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hello.
How are you guys? Everything good with you guys? I know the situation is not ideal with you guys right now, but I just hope things get better soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy here, but we're trying to be positive and keep on acting to do whatever we can, especially work. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not easy, but that's the way things are.
All right. So yeah, keep your mind in the work. So yeah, and good luck. So I decided to do this live stream, and I'll tell you guys at home for one reason, because I'm lazy. Every time I make a video about Tobe Technology and the device, my mailbox like packed with questions and things, and I don't have the time to write to everybody. So I told the Tobe team that look, you guys need to do your job. I'm not gonna do your job, okay? So there is a lot of questions about the device, how the device can help the beekeepers, what kind of beekeepers, what kind of treatments, price, blah, blah, blah. So today is the day that we're going to reach the source of information so we can um, talk about the device. And I want to start, Avner and Ron, to ask you guys how this whole thing started. Can you tell me a little overview about the history of the device? Who bring the idea to the table, and how this whole thing started?
Yeah, sure. Well, basically, I'm here 5 years ago. Pretty much, we started a company firstly with Dr. Avri Ben Shimon, which is the founder, and it started because in Israel we have a way of treating bees and testing for varroa with smoking them with the amateur strips. And this is actually the main procedure if you want to inspect how much varroa you have in your hives by smoking them on this paper strip. And then Avi, the founder, he actually came up with the idea, why not taking this strip, fumigating the emitress and make it automatically? Because we know that once you smoke the strip, it only treats the phoretic mites, but it doesn't treat the mites inside the brood. So what people used to do is they used to manually smoke their hives every other day or every 3 days. And then he thought, how can I make this thing works better and automatically and just be a good solution for the beekeepers? So he came up with this device that Avner will present in a minute that maybe some of you already saw on the video. And this device is actually an automatic machine fumigating any compound, basically any compound you can use. But what we used from the very beginning as the technical uh, compounds such as amitraz and fluvalinate, and then we took them, impregnated them on this paper, and came up with this electronic device that just does the work automatically. And this, started 5 years ago. The first device that I saw was made from Lego, like seriously Lego and balsa wood, and it was just one device. And then slowly, there was a different, newer version, and newer version, and then what you see today in the video, this is already a device that is, we can manufacture it commercially, and we have thousands of these devices now. After doing, many experiments throughout the years, many firstly in Israel, but in other countries as well. So this is like from the very beginning, yeah. The first history.
Yeah, maybe I can just say real quick that here in Israel, the varroa mite is like a huge issue. Okay, we are suffering for a huge amount of losses since we got super hot weather, right? So we kind of splitting our hives during the autumn, and then in the winter time, it's so warm that the bees kind of, rejuvenating and doing tons of brood. So beekeepers were struggling here just to survive. And this is why we came with this, this solution that is being applied maybe in Eastern Europe as well, with the smoke solution. But it doesn't work. I mean, at the end of the day, we've demonstrated an amazing efficacy, but it doesn't really help so much to the actual amount of mites in the hive, because all of the mites is in the cap brood. So what we had like 3 years of biology studies, which been conducted by Ron, only finding the minimal dosage and the time intervals and the number of treatments, and kind of finding the best way to achieve the highest efficacy with the lowest amount of pesticides. And that is our journey. And maybe you could say that after 3 years of doing trials and doing the regulation path, which was pretty much crazy, we kind of start using this device. And we went in the beginning with hundreds of hives, and now actually we're running 8,000 hives, which third of them is not accessible because they're close to the border now, and we have the war going on. So it's kind of crazy. But this is our journey. And about the vision of the company is just to help beekeepers worldwide to manage their bees, to have good yields, to cut down the losses, and make beekeeping fun again. Not don't need to be chemistry or biology, or like to do tons of tests and alcohol washes. It's not fun. We just want to go grow the bees and have fun. So I think this is the journey of
Yeah,
our company.
yeah.
That's
We
good to know.
started
That's good to know.
yeah, we
So
started
I
beekeeping with, I'm sorry, yeah, was becoming, this is actually the journey in the beginning. Like, we saw that in order to be a keeper, you also need to be a chemist, and you also, you have to inspect your bees all the time, and it's just, this is not the fun part of beekeeping. So we said, how can we take this part of the varroa and take it out of the equation, and let beekeepers keep their bees, and we will take care of the varroa. This is like was our guideline for the very beginning.
Yeah, you guys focus on Varroa, but when I see the device, I saw a lot of potential for many things ahead of us. Depending what we're gonna put there, depending of the philosophy of the company too, and how we're gonna let people use the device, maybe their own ways with their own recipes or timing. And because beekeeper now is we have solutions. The problem is some solutions demand so much work from the beekeeper that it's not a solution anymore. It's
Exactly.
just very tiring, and it consumes a lot of resources and things like that. So I was very impressed and see because the size and that doesn't take the fun of beekeeping, just like you guys said. So that's why I decided that it's going to be a good project to work with you guys on that, and I'm having fun too. So just before we continue, there is some difficulties here. Apparently, the chat, some people are facing some trouble, and I don't know what to do about that. It's the first time that I'm having a live stream with a guest from Israel, from far away, from that far away. So apparently, half of you are doing well, and half of you are not. There is some delay. In case is the things are getting really bad, don't worry. Just keep going, because if the live stream is not doing well, I am recording here in parallel in my computer, and if it's bad quality in the internet after that, I will re-update with the high quality content. Okay, so don't worry about it. So let's keep going then. uh, Evan and Ron, can you? I see you have a phone ready to go there to for the people at home that never saw the device. Can you give a little introduction, show the device a little bit and how it works and things like that?
Yeah, yeah, sure, Umberto, of course. So this is actually a transparent hive, just to understand. So you can see here, there is even a transparent device. So basically, the device is designed just to go inside any standard beehive entrance, okay? Or it's possible to install the device on the roof board as well. So once the device is installed inside the colony, there is first of all the solar panel right here. So the device is self-sustained. There is a rechargeable battery in the back. There is only one button to trigger the different protocols. Of course, if you want to do it, you can do it from the app. But basically, if you have gloves or if you don't do much into technology, like you don't like the apps, you don't have cellular connectivity, you can just press the button to trigger the treatments, right? And here inside there is this cartridge, and you can see right here the impregnated paper. So we using this special type of paper that is possible just to impregnate in any molecule that we choose, and then we kind of set up the dosage by the amount of paper that we take out. There is a small engine right here that push the paper out, and a small igniter unit that actually put the paper in this some kind of controlled flame. It's not an open flame, but it's some kind of heat in this burning chamber. Right here, you can see here the burning chamber that is heat resistance material. And then we got in the device two types of blowers, one kind of feeding the flame, and the other one kind of takes the air from inside the colony and kind of push the compounds from the back and kind of spin it. Because for us, the high efficacy, it's all about evenly spread the compound because we're looking towards just knock the mites off with this acoustic dosage and then all the compounds just go out. This is how we can use a very, very small amount and achieve in 15 days almost 100% efficacy. On top of that, you can see right here that the device is able to fold just to slide inside the colony if there is any migratory beekeeping, so it won't damage during the load on the truck. And I think this is pretty much it. I could say maybe just in a short word that the device is actually a smart device. So there's all kind of sensors that kind of measure the environmental conditions and the colony conditions. So we have the ability actually to adjust the treatment because as you know, and this is part of the challenge of giving the best treatment is to, because sometimes the metabolism of the bees will change with temperature, and the colony that have 8 frames of bees does not need the same dosage as 4 frames of bees. So we kind of integrated all that inside the device, and the whole idea is just to find the minimal amount of dosage to have the best efficacy.
Good, good. So, okay, I go straight to the point. The biggest question that I receive all the time: how are you guys planning regarding price? And what's the difficulty to bring the market in US right now?
So actually, I'm getting, thanks to you and thanks to a few other channels, I'm getting hundreds of mails, and I appreciate maybe some of the viewer here actually sent me the mail, and thank you guys so much for asking and for showing interest, in our product. That's amazing and heartwarming, giving us energy to go forward. About the price as we see right now, with the target price will be around $50, but actually this price is variable in many different, some countries we've managed to get subsidies from the country, so the kind of the country push forward, this technology and helps the beekeeper. And sometimes there is issues that dependent on customs. So it's just kind of idea, and we hope when we're going to push the device more to the market, we'll be able to take the cost down and to help everyone to enjoy this technology. And I will say one more thing, that the way we look on that, our sustainability is to help beekeepers to earn more money by having more honey, less production, and less labor. And it doesn't matter what the price will be, it needs to be way less from the money we're going to help them to earn in their business. And this is how we measure our ability to help the beekeepers.
That's the way to go. If the beekeepers don't make money, they don't have a value to buy your product. So
Exactly.
that's business
Exactly.
101. Value. Okay, return of investment. You guys at home have I think I'm gonna take questions because here we go. Teresa is saying when it's gonna be available.
Okay, so first, we are already now working on the regulatory path in the United States. If Teresa is from the States, then it's a long procedure. We already started it, and I can tell you that here in Israel, it took us about a year since we started, and we had to do all the kinds of trials. And it's a whole regulatory file that you have to submit. It took us about a year here in Israel, and we really hope that we can actually maybe even find a shorter path in the States, because sometimes there are like emergency path for regulatory license. So right now we are working on it. To be honest, like there's no there's not one answer. We hope that in a year we can already be selling devices in the States.
All right. Oh,
Yeah, and maybe I can add a small thing that so actually the regulatory path is not that easy because we're even though the Amitraz is licensed in America, so still we have a different delivery method. It's actually considered as a new veterinarian medicine. So some countries, especially in Europe, the process could be I don't know 2 3 years, and there is tons of experiments that needed to be done. In the US, it might be, I mean, it's not as easy, but it's not as hard in Europe. But actually, we're now looking for partners for the emergency pathway. It's called Section 18. So maybe there's many people here, watching. So we need to collaborate to accelerate stuff a bit because the regular pathway can take 2 years, and we're looking for partners that can help us to push it forward. Um, and yeah, I mean, we're looking forward to arrive everywhere. I've got over 45 countries sending me emails. I want to buy this. I want this. I want that. But unfortunately, because the regulatory path kind of takes a lot of effort, we need to choose specific countries to move forward first. And we kind of try always to contact with the right people in the right markets to help us, if it's researchers, big apiaries, opinion leaders, etc., just to push as fast as possible.
so I wanna add on that. I'm very familiar with the Europe system and the U.S. system, and for people in U.S. that is still thinking that the U.S. system is very hard, you have no idea what the European system is. So I'm happy to be here in U.S. even though the regulatory path is still a pain in the butt. Um, and the other thing that I want the people at home to understand is that when a biotech starts, they need to focus in specific areas, and sometimes it's not very uh, easy to understand why they pick one or another. And that doesn't mean they're not focusing on the whole market. It's just a way to speed things up and make sure that the company will survive. So everybody in the near future is going to have access to the device. Please don't think people are being insensitive to backyard beekeepers or anything like that. It doesn't work like that. It's just a competition is too high, and they need to focus and they need to work hard to survive. Once they survive, the goal of the company is to benefit everybody. All right, I'm gonna take more questions here. Okay, so here we go. For you guys, how long does the treatment takes, and does it have to be repeated? All right.
Yeah, so we have actually a few different treatments, and our main treatment, the full treatment, is a 15 days treatment, meaning that the device enters the hive and it works automatically for 15 days. And then it depends in the how fast will the hive be reinfested with varroa, and this difference between different areas. I can tell you that here in Israel, in desert places where there aren't many beehives, neighbors, then just twice a year is enough. But we've been to places where you need to treat even 4 times a year. So this also varies in your area. But in 15 days, you get about 95% efficacy. and then from then it's just a matter of how fast will it be reinfested again.
Maybe I can just add, in a couple of words, that we
Sure.
have we have in the device three pre-programmed protocols, right? So we got the 15 days treatment. Maybe one of the viewers can guess why 15 days, but we've seen very reliable, 95 to 97% efficacy, and using a very small amount, like way less than one strip of amitraz. The other pre-programmed protocol, we got the queen cell introduction. So actually, we advise the beekeepers that introduce the queen cell just to wait for 2 weeks, and when they see that the new mated queen is laying right and everything is all right, so that we trigger the 8 days treatment. But during the 8 days, there is practically almost any brood kept, maybe except the drones. So it's actually around 99%. And the last protocol we have, it's for the broodless period, and this is could be like autumn. I mean, it's depending in the climate, right? But it could be around 99.9, really high efficacy in 24 hours. And this is kind of our toolkit as far as concerned to treatments.
All right. Okay, next question. Oh, that's a good one. Good luck.
Okay. Yeah, so actually,
Let me just repeat the questions. Just how
yeah,
does the Unity do in wet weather? I live in Tennessee, USA, and it can be quite wet at times. So,
yeah.
is
So
that
actually,
robust enough?
yeah, we performed many experiments in many different climates. I can tell you that the device have been in places working where we got the hurricane alert, tornado alert, and it still worked. So for those 15 days, since it has, I mean, it is water resistant, and it worked even in most humid areas for this, and it has a self autocorrect mechanism. So even if the device it feels that the paper is moist for some reason, it can reactivate it, and then yeah, it's a error handling mechanism.
Yeah, we've conducted an experiment. I mean, the latest video was in Florida, and it was humid as hell, and it was like practically summertime, rain. Ron had to put his boots and his rain suit, just to see if everything working right, and it works really well in these climates. And yeah, I mean, it's really challenging, but we kind of find the sweet spot. Uh, how to deal with the humidity and the rain and
Yeah.
everything.
This was one of our major challenges that we had to deal with, and we came up with many different solutions for it. But I can tell you now that this is not the main challenge anymore, the humidity.
Good to hear that. Can you elaborate a little bit on that self-correction protocol? So it's something like that. If in the middle of the procedure something fails, the device have a way to maybe to redo it, something like
Yeah.
that?
Exactly
Mhm.
that. We have sensors, so the device, as Avner said before, it is a smart device. It has many sensors in it. Some of them are used to indicate whether the hive is strong or weak, but some of them are also for the error handling. So it can know, for example, if the battery, I don't know, for some reason is failing, and it can tell you like, okay, I need a battery replacement. But then it can also know on the actual protocol if one of the pulses didn't work for some reason, then it knows how to redo it.
Interesting. That's really good to hear. I didn't know that part.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, biology-wise, we kind of go towards the area of the knee, right? Like the efficacy knee. So there is this point when you kind of start adding more and more compound, but you don't achieve so much more efficacy. But if you go down below that point, you kind of dropping down hard. So the main challenge for us, when we was like doing all the studies and understanding about the knee, we call it the knee, that we need to be like right on hitting the mites, not damaging the bees. And this is the reason why we done this mechanism that actually analyzing the amount of paper that being released the compound, and if we missed something, just automatically fixing it.
All right. So how about temperature? Is it temperature sensitive to work operate? If it is too hot or too cold, how that works in drastic temperatures?
So yeah, this also actually the device will also have, since it has sensors, then it will know how to, well, how to calibrate itself and work according to the right temperature. I can tell you that in here in Israel, we're a desert country, and it gets very high temperature, and we had no problems. In very cold places, actually, when temperatures drop to freezing, then these places usually have broodless conditions, and then the device will just calibrate itself and will work only like a 24-hour cycle, and will already clean the hive, so it can even reduce the amount of effective compounds delivered to the hive. But yeah, we're not expecting that much problems with the weather.
Gotcha. All right. Next question. I believe I know this answer. You guys selling in Europe?
We want to, I mean, we are working on it already. We already did conduct a very successful experiment in Spain with one of the biggest beekeepers in Spain, and it was the results were amazing. I mean, we had very good results, and we're working on that as well. But like you said before, Umberto, since we are a startup company struggling to survive, we are challenging our efforts in where we believe that we will get the best results and fastest regarding to regulatory uh, paths. So we are working on Europe, parallel to working in the USA, parallel to working in Korea and New Zealand, and we hope to get there soon. Yeah.
And I would say that in Europe, by the way, there is a single spot of light that once you go to the EU, it's kind of easier to move sideways compared to other countries. So we hope that once we breach, the first, European country, so it will be a bit easier for us to spread more.
Gotcha. Canadian beekeepers. Good to have you here, my friend. Question: have you explored the issue with sourcing liquid Amitrax products? We will plan to sell Amitrax as a registered product. This is, I think, a Canadian situation unique to Canada.
We, we heard this many places, like the liquid amitraz or the tactic. It's called,
Yeah,
or
it,
it's now banned. It's now banned in most places, and you cannot get it unless you're like an off-label. We don't use liquid amitraz. We use technical compound. It's not the tactic. We use our own formulation, meaning we buy the amitraz and we have the formulation, and then we impregnate it by ourselves, and we sell the little cartridge that Avner showed you. So this is we our license will be to sell this guy with the compound already in it. So it's not a matter of tactic and liquid amitraz. It's not, doesn't concern us.
yeah, it's not only in Canada. Here
Yeah,
in US also is a problem. They banned. There's even people going to jail trying to
yeah,
sneak thing in.
it's the
It,
same here in Israel.
it is a serious problem. So yeah, I hope you guys can get this license. The thing that I don't understand about well, this is me with the regulatory people. They make so much about little things that if you it's a common sense, but well, I'll regret. I digress. Let's continue here. Yes, the live stream will be available later. So if you miss part of the live stream, yes. How you get around beekeepers buying the liquid amitraz for alternative use? I don't think you can. You just need to be better than better
Yeah.
than them. You need to be economically better than them. But I'll let you guys talk
Yeah.
about
Maybe I can explain real quick that, I mean, it's definitely a wrong field, but I will start and maybe we'll elaborate a bit later. That basically our product works in a very different way compared to the traditional, and we have been visiting in Florida, we've been visiting in a couple of countries in the world, and many people that now is consider as places that consider amateurs resistant when strips or the tactic on rags or whatever, every country got a different tax and tricks how to put the amitraz. So we haven't seen any resistance at all once we're spreading our compound through gas phase and the respiratory system of the mites. So I mean, we don't see it as a competition at all. And actually, at the end of the day, we are here to help. And there is a lot, and it seems maybe people will say, oh, it seems kind of simple, but let me tell you, there is a lot of chemistry. I mean, we got the agrochemistry part of actually manufacturing the cartridge. We got now team that is manufacturing the devices overseas in Taiwan, and we're looking to get the first big, like, totally commercial batch. So there's a lot of know-how, engineering wise, production, and of course the software part. And we haven't explained so much, but there's a lot of IoT abilities to the devices that we are not pushing right now because we've been talking with beekeepers that are not so anxious to pay additional money for that. But our device actually can detect the size of the colony and the trend of the colony. And we have a gateway unit that kind of collects the data from the devices and gives a very clear image to the beekeeper. Hey, how many colonies do I have? Are they getting stronger? They're getting weaker? When I visit them at the last time, put everything on the map automatically. So it's kind of work very nice. We're not pushing it forward right now. So there's a lot of work in different channels.
Yeah, I want just to add one more thing about these questions, and our whole idea is to get a better solution than, for example, using the amitraz with the liquid or using the amitraz in strips. The whole idea is to get the beekeepers have more bees and have more honey. So all the experiments we've conducted so far, we always had control groups using amitraz strips or amitraz in liquid, and every time our bees are stronger and they make more honey and there is more bees. So if somebody wants to use any alternative use, I mean, everybody chooses whatever they want, but we are here to say, like, this solution should help the beekeepers, and they will not want to use any other method just because the device will just work better and will use much less compounds. So, for example, if, like Avner said before, if in one amitraz strip you have half a gram of amitraz, our whole treatment uses about half of it. So we use much less compound and we get much better results.
this is something that is absolutely one of the most important things for me is the reduction of the chemicals used, because we're reaching a point that we're crossing the lines with the pesticides and the way of
Yeah.
handling chemicals, and there is a whole system to not sure what's really going on out there. uh, but reducing is always a good thing.
Maybe I
So
can add a small thing. Maybe just so for us, it's very curious how do we measure success in our treatments? Because just testing for mites, I mean, it's nice, but hey, let's be honest, it's not the issue. So actually, we're testing not just the efficacy, we are testing many other parameters in our control group. The number of bees, how fast the bees are recuperating during the spring, what are the honey yields, how many frames of brood there is in the end of the year, how many colonies been pulled away from those colonies at the end of the year. So we've seen an amazing here in Israel. I don't know, most of the Western world, you can say, of the developed world now, we have around 40, 50, some places even 60% of colony losses every year. And we've seen here in Israel with thousands of hives that we are treating 50% reduction in colony losses. So, I mean, it's money in the pocket for the beekeepers. On top of that, we've seen stronger colonies in the pollination, since the bees, being second box earlier, they're collecting more honey, and this is why we are still positive, because we know beekeepers does not make so much money, but if we will be able to help them to have 10 more of pounds at the end of the season, they will be able to have more colonies, be able to sell, send to the almonds, don't need to buy to source their colonies out. So we are totally positive for our ability to survive and to bring this economical solution to the market.
All right. I think you guys gonna need to do another explaining here. People are concerned about the automatic part of it, how the doses are regulated.
Okay, so this is actually, this was the hard work in the first few years is to get the formulation in the right percentage of active compound, and then it's a lot of chemical and calculations, but then in the end of the day it's the amount of how many centimeters or inches of these strips are being delivered. So it's very easy, like if say you have a box that has supers on, or it's like not supers but two boxes of brood, you will use more of this paper per pulse. And the device has like a small computer, and we program the program from the begin with, and then it knows how much to deliver each time.
So
And maybe I can add, it's happening mainly during the nights when all of the bees are returning inside the cluster, and we're doing adjustments, according to the temperature, the environmental temperature, and the size of the colony as we read it in our device.
yeah, that's quite interesting because other treatments you just have two solutions. Put one strip or two or three. There is no precision there, and it's a contact base. So that's why I like this approach, because you guys, if the device deliver what you guys saying, it's gonna evaluate the situation and burn a specific amount of very precise amount of the strip, the paper to deliver the correct dose. That's
The,
that's interesting.
the precision is the whole point here. And either the device reads it, or you can, it has different programs, and you can choose. For example, if you have two brood chambers, then you press 5 times, and then if you have one, you press 3 times. And this is pre-programmed in the device.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understand this one, but I'm gonna try. Is there a treatment that increases hygienic behavior? That interesting. I don't know
this
if
is
I.
more This is
Yeah.
more like genetic
Uh,
question in bee genetics.
I-
We didn't work on this kind of, I don't know, this is not our really field of work, but we are encouraging, integrated pest management. So I believe that this thing will work even better if with the beekeepers will also breed for hygienic behavior, of course. The combination of hygienic behavior with much more accurate treatment will for sure get better results in the end.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Sylvan Fire one. I'm not sure. If you want to try to repeat the question later with specify what you're thinking, we can try to come back. Okay. I'm not sure if I understand the question. This is a question that is my question too. Would only be able to deliver Emitrax?
Of course, not. Our vision and our dream is to have alternating compounds. So since again we are a company that has to aim for success, and we have limited resources now, we are, and all the most of the research done so far was on amateurs, but we are working on thymol, and we've experimented with thymol. It is possible. We're working with formic acid and other essential oils, and this is also of course, we want this device to have work with all kinds of compounds, and you can alternate, and it will work twice a year. So it will work once with one compound, and then the second treatment with a different one. And we are working on it. Yeah, it will deliver any compound it can deliver. It's not a problem.
So maybe I will elaborate a bit. So we got right now the amitrose molecule and we got the fluvalinate molecule working very well, very high efficacy, low amount of medicine. And in our vision, I mean, we hope that we will be able to spend very, to be all over. Then people will be able to coordinate. By the way, even the devices is possible to program them and to trigger remotely the treatments. So maybe treating in autumn treating with this compound and in the spring with another compound, and at the end of the day delay any resistance and to allow to take even down lower down the amount of pesticides. And maybe in another point that we are going towards the most common compound that's being used. So right now in the world, maybe just uh, certain countries not, but I think 90% of the beekeepers in the world using now the amitraz, especially the commercial ones, because this is actually the only stuff that is working properly. And so this is why we went straight to this one, to take this molecule to reduce in 80-90% the amount, to take out the efficacy. But our dream is in the end of the day to allow totally organic compounds, and we are experimenting with many essential oils right now. And actually thymol is working, but apparently not working as good as the synthetic molecule. But not only that, the bees just they don't like it at all. So it's really funny when we kind of, we're releasing a very small dosage of thymol in gas phase, and you see the bees just, leaving the colony out and just coming back later. So we take it down, but then the efficacy is not so good. So it's a bit more tricky.
Yeah. It takes much more trials and much more experiments working with these kinds of with organic compound, just because the the where you can harm the bees, or you can not treat the varroa, and this is it's trickier to find the sweet spot. But we are working on it, and we do want it to work with organic compounds as well, and it will.
And maybe the another amazing thing that we're working on is, of course, the formic acid, because our system has the abilities to actually find the right window, the optimal
Temperature.
window to temperature wise, and just treat the mites without harming the bees. So we are keen, to launching this ability as well.
I want to elaborate on that because you guys told us your dream. Let me tell you my dream about that. Is there
Mm.
any chance that you allow us to do whatever we want with the device? Like we can program, we can add our own strip with paper with whatever we are planning to do at home, and there is any chance we can negotiate that?
I mean,
That's my
the
dream.
yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, this is also a part of a regulatory.
I know.
Well, I mean, if we can sell the device without any compound in it and just tell you, okay, now you take the formic acid, drip it in, and do a program by yourself. Yeah, I mean, it is also something we thought about it. Maybe it will happen. Maybe we're designing the device because now, since you see it's working with distilled paper, if you want it to work with formic acid, for example, it's liquid, then it will need to have some adjustments to it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's possible, and the device has a sensor for temperature, so it can sense that now is the right temperature, and now I will open a little door and will evaporate some formic acid for a few minutes, and then actually we thought about it back in the day, and like using the beekeepers worldwide as like a hive, like one big hive, and everybody will do all kinds of different experiments, and they will tell you, I tried this and this worked good, or and actually it would be great. It's a great idea, and it will save us maybe some time and money. And we can talk about it later. Maybe we can think about something like that.
Oh, I like the idea. Not that I don't just don't trust the machine, but I think the best sensor for the honeybee hive is the beekeeper, and the beekeeper might want to find his own way. I never like to take the freedoms of the beekeeper to to experiment in their own hives. The people have different ideas, and always something good come from these approaches, in my view.
Yeah,
So
you're
just
right.
think about it. Think about it.
Sure.
Yeah, I would say that was part of our journey because when we started in Israel in the beginning, it was very sorry, I'm just losing my voice. Can so sorry. So when we started, we were like, "Oh, we just want this and that protocols because this is the way things are in Israel." So it's easy. But when you go out there, so you see there isn't any logic. Every different country, people will grow their bees different. So we are open minded for that as well.
Yeah, that's one of the things I preach here. When I go and help beekeepers, I don't like silver bullets. There is no silver bullets or one protocol fits everything. You need to evaluate the whole situation, all the variables. It takes time and talk with the beekeeper, talk with the crew, find the truth, and then we create protocols that are specific to the beekeeper.
Sure.
So, all right, so let's continue here. I think I know the answer of this one. It will measure the effect of the treatment, how much I think reduction of mites. I don't think the device will measure how many mites dropped or something like that, but I think it will be about the beekeeper to keep. I don't know.
Actually, I'll be honest. So we actually found a very reliable way to do that, but it's just one of our proprietaries, and we cannot expand so much and tell how we do it. But I mean, it's matter of cost efficiency. So we cannot add this technology right now to the version. But I would say this, that for us, this device should eliminate the need of the beekeeper to be worried and say, oh, how much mites do I have? I should alcohol wash my mites because if you're going to have a stable and reliable efficacy, so people will be able to just treat 15 days and they're done. So that's the vision.
Interesting. I want to elaborate on that then. Since you guys mentioned to me before that you might be adapting the device to different situations, to different kind of beekeepers, can you give me a little glimpse about what that means? It's gonna have a specific device for backyard beekeepers and a specific one for commercial guys. Is something like that, or something else?
Um, you mean except of the part of the different molecules and the different protocols?
Yeah, I think I got an impression from you guys in one of our conversations that the device, there is some plans to adapt the device to different kind of
Yeah.
beekeepers.
Yeah. So actually, I was traveling around the world, and Ron was going towards Spain, and apparently, most of the colonies in Spain they're in the migratory colony boxes, and the entrance is this big. They have a couple of holes. So I mean, the device is not fit there so much, and we've been traveling in Korea doing some experiments there. There's a huge, amazing bee culture, and they have such a small, slots, very, very. So, I mean, we kind of got to the point that we feel that we might need to reconsider in future versions the location of the device in the colony. And for example, yeah, in the States, I mean, I'm not working in inches, but I know it's very narrow. Some of the pallets of the beekeepers is really narrow, so they need kind of adjust their pallets or the entrances for the device to go in. So we kind of experiment for different versions, in the future that will be able to be installed from inside the colony and not just from the entrance. And then to be more flexible to different type of boxes around the world.
Got it. All right. This is my question too. How long would the cartridge last approximately?
So also this it actually depends. say in this in our device right now, the cartridge is per treatment. So whenever you want to treat it, like say you have your 15-day treatment, you put your cartridge, you press play, and then it's just a one time go. But we do see how in the future the whole device will maybe entering the hive, and then it would maybe look a bit differently. And we do think maybe it will have even two compounds on one cartridge, and then it can work for a whole year. But this is more for the future. Right now, it's per treatment. Yeah,
And when you see treatment, you're talking about all the 15 or 30 or 40 days, right? Not
it's
one single
15 days.
shot.
It's just a 15 days. Yeah, this is like the full treatment. And then if you want to use the cartridge for just 1 day or just 8 days, like we said before, if you have a queen, if you are introducing a queen cell, you actually need a shorter. You can use. I mean, you don't need the whole 15-day one, but it's the same cartridge anyways. So it's just for per treatment.
Per treatment protocol.
Yeah.
Protocol, yeah. So per
Plus
protocol.
more. So if the full treatment is 15 days, so we have around 20 days. So we say, okay, we can add additional 25% more. Doesn't matter so much for us.
And release a little bit every day or every 2 days in the middle of the night time.
If we'll tell
Or
you,
it's a
so
secret.
that's
That's a secret.
I
Uh,
tell you that this was very like the biggest challenge was to find the right protocol and the right dosage and how many times a day and how many times a night. The whole theory in the beginning was you have to do it once every 3 days for 3 weeks and you're done. And I can tell you that I've done it so many times. You do one, you smoke it once every 3 days for 21 days or for 24, and you can do it for 2 months and you will still have lots of mites. And this is the whole biology into understanding how long is the mother mite spend on the bee. We all know that the young varroa, the daughters have to be for 3 days on the mites, but the mothers do not need to be on the bees at all. The mothers come out of the cell and then they jump right back in. And how long do they statistically, like how long will they be outside of the cell? This is the whole part of how many treatments you have to do per day, how many pulses per day. Yeah.
Understood. All right. Fascinating project. This seems like it will make it a lot easier to combat the mites. What is the failure rate of the product?
So our KPIs is talking over 95% success. So we want to know that if we'll spend, if you're gonna, I mean, 95 will achieve over 90% of success. So at the end of the day, if you spend 100 devices at the field, you come back. So you should find the most one device that didn't actually clean the colonies for the mites.
Okay, good to know. Interesting. That's maybe not related, but Israeli honeybees are suspicious of Italians. I believe so. And do you
Uh,
use Russian honeybees at all?
Well, the first bees that we had here, this is like 150 years ago, we had Syrian honeybees. It's Apis mellifera, but it's an Apis mellifera syrica. So this was the native bee. It was very aggressive and it didn't do much honey. It used to swarm a lot. So now we do have the Italian bee, Apis linguistica. Some people brought in some Caucasian bees and Carnica bees, and they did all kinds of breeds. Now, what it's called the Italian bees, but you know that in Israel they found the oldest apiary in the world in Tel Rehov. And actually, when the archaeologists that looked in the bees there and they did their research, they found that the source of the bees there were actually Anatolian bees from the Turkey. So migratory beekeepers already brought, well, they already brought bees to Israel. I think it's 3,000 years ago or something like that. So yeah, pretty cool.
In
Yeah,
pots.
beekeepers.
Yeah.
Beekeepers, they are moving bees everywhere. I don't think we can stop that, or
Yeah.
yeah, beekeepers are beekeepers. Just it is what it is. This is a subject that people will be interested to talk about. Oxalic acid. Could you get an approval to be a viperizer, oxalic acid viperizer in the United States?
Uh, I mean, there is no reason why we shouldn't. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
We are working on it as well. The fact is that oxalic acid per pulse, you need to use much more power. Like the batteries that will be required will be bigger. But there is actually we have an idea how to use oxalic acid, but it will not be the same amount like you use on a single pulse. It will be like micro pulses of oxalic acid, and we are working on it as well because we believe that it has actually, yeah, it may work with oxalic acid, but it's not going to be like a vaporizer that you take it and you use it yourself. It will again will be the same idea of integrated protocol. You put oxalic acid and it will work for these 2 or 3 weeks. We're still working on it on that as well.
Okay. Next one here. Do you have to do this treatment at night or cold enough for the bees to cluster together?
The treatment works mostly at night because then all the bees are in the hive and it's the most effective time to treat the bees. But about the cold, it's not about clustering. Actually, it works in the evenings, and yeah, the cluster is not important. Like if you have a cluster and you have no brood, then you need much less pulses. Much it can work in just 2 pulses, and you will clean the whole hive. But yeah, it's not. You don't have to treat it at night, but it's better.
All right. Okay. Castle House. Brian, I think we already answered this question, but I'm gonna let them answer again, Brian. It's gonna be available for hobbyist beekeepers.
Yeah, so I mean, the end of the day, we're looking to help all the beekeepers just because the fact that we are a startup and we got investors and we need to run fast to the market, it's easier for us to speak with the biggest beekeepers first, kind of logistic wise, to accelerate sales and show the value. But at the end of the day, I believe that the hobbyists should enjoy even more because it is very hard for hobbyists to manage their colonies and survive the season. And we will be able to help with that.
All right. Here you go. You got your answer, Brian. I hope to see you soon. I think I'm gonna how the treatment can control and cell infestation. I would advise you to see the 2 videos that I already made about this, but I'm gonna let you guys talk about
Ron?
Well, this is actually, if I understand the question correctly, this is what I explained earlier is that
it. I think where he's asking if the compounds reach inside the brood cells.
so
That's what I
if
believe.
I understand, but if we work with, for example, formic acid, and we all know that formic acid can penetrate the cell, the cappings. But if we work with different compounds, for example, like fluvelinate or amitraz, it doesn't penetrate. This is the whole point of the protocol and the interval of the pulses that we use, that we catch the mite whenever they exit the cell, then we use a pulse. And then you don't actually clean inside the cells, but having intervals of very precise amount every few hours or every few days, then we manage to actually clean inside the cell. I mean, in 15 days, and this is what Avner said before. The reason why it's a 15-day protocol is because
Hey, it
the
was a question to the viewer. Nobody answered. Maybe because my Israeli accent, no one has understood my question.
what do you mean?
So I asked if any one of the viewers know or can guess why it's 15 days,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
no one answered for that.
So yeah, the reason why it's 15 days is because the brood of the male, the drone, is 14 days, yeah, from the minute it's capped until the minute it hatches. So emerges. So 14 days you have sealed brood, no matter when you start. Like this is the maximum amount of sealed brood that you will have. This is why the protocol is 15 days. And if you treat in 15 days in the right protocol, in the right intervals, you will get an inside of the cell. You will get it clean. Yeah. So we actually we did monitored it, and the last experiment we did in the States, and that's what you showed it in one of your videos, Umberto. The results of the, we opened the cappings of 300 bees in almost 50 hives. So this was a huge sample, and we counted the infested cells, and this is how we proved that our device actually works of cleaning the inside of the cells as well.
Got it. All right. So now I think I know what you're talking about. About the previous question about hygienic behavior, he was mentioning about Dr. Kara that I also interview here. I think you don't understand how this Dr. Kara's experiment work. If the device is sprayed that compound, that's going to be a mess because that's going to stimulate hygienic behavior. If it's a high hygienic behavior, and it's going to be spread in the whole hive, the bee's going to get rid of every single brood there. So that could be a problem. So go back to that interview, understand the procedure, and because there are this is two different things. One is for treat mites, but if we apply that one, that compound is used to select queens, to select hives. It's a selection process. It's not going to help to generate more hygienic behavior in a honeybee hive that doesn't. So please take a look at that video again. But now I understand what you said. But thank you for your question.
Yeah, and we are all towards, hygienic behavior, and for us it will be even better. We're going to do one treatment a year. I think at the end of the day, it won't be possible to get rid of 100% of this trouble. I mean, at the end of the day, we are raising the Western honeybee that is sensitive, more sensitive to the Varroa mite. So even I don't think, I haven't saw any 100% solution of hygienic behavior for this problem. So I think there is coexistence between both of the solutions.
All right. I have no idea what that. Not sure I understand. Is this a question? So Nigella Sativa, black
Yes.
seed oil working with honeybees too against varroa mite or against? I would assume so. I have no idea. Never used
The,
black seed oil before. Brian, please send me an email with the information you have. I'll be glad to take a look and get back to you. Okay. All right, moving forward. Will this be affordable for backyard beekeepers? Currently, US has a unit of about $500.
well, I don't know about the second part, but as we said before, this should be affordable for any beekeeper because it will make you earn more money. So, for example, if you now, you have, yeah, like you said before, your ROI, like when you will return your investment and it will be affordable. Uh, right now, I can tell you that in Israel, the way that we do sell it here to beekeepers is they don't buy the actual device in order for it to be more affordable for the beekeepers. What we do is they pay per year,
As a
and
service.
yeah, it's a service. So in order for it, because the device is actually, it's quite expensive, and the Israeli beekeepers they don't have, that much money to invest in it. So we offer this as a service, and they pay per year, and they don't actually own the device, but they do get a full treatment, and they don't have to worry about treating Varroa for a whole year. Whenever if you're licensed and if you're registered with us.
And that is gonna cover the cost of repair too of the device and
Yeah,
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 everything.
yeah,
yeah.
100%.
The beekeeper should not deal with this. Just put the device in, put the cartridge in, press the button,
That's
come
it.
back after 15 days, and that's it. If you should be need to be like a technician, and it's going to be very expensive, very complicated. And actually, I'll be honest, I think the backyard beekeepers shouldn't be worried so much because if we are moving towards helping the commercial beekeepers that have thousands of hives, so naturally a backyard beekeeper that have couple of hives, he will be able to afford it easily. And I think one point we did not mention here is the amount of residues in the wax and in the honey. So maybe Ron, you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, since we use so little chemicals, and since it's only in gas phase, and actually the wax doesn't have to be near a strip for weeks, then we found that our device doesn't leave any residues. Like we took samples of wax, we took samples of honey from the brood nest and from the honey boxes, and we send them all to Germany to analyze
Intertech.
Intertech lab for analysis, and we got like non-detectable residues of either amitraz or its metabolites. So this is actually really great news. Like you can use our device, and you can know that since the compound that doesn't actually is not there with the bees and with the wax all the time, then it doesn't leave residues.
All right. I think we are reaching our time limit here that I talk with you guys. If you guys have more questions, please send to me or send to 2B website. Uh, what's the website again for people at home that never visit you guys? Is
It's 2b.green.
2b.green. We'll
Yeah.
put, all right, 2b.green. That's easy to remember. So I
Mhm.
want to thank you guys for your time. Thank you for to answer all our questions here in US. I appreciate your time. I also want to thank everybody at home for joining us today. It's Sunday, so I really appreciate your time. And yes, and I hope I can see you guys again in the next live stream. So that being said, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Thank you so much, Umberto.
Umberto, we want to say thank you as well.
All
You
right.
really help us with your amazing platform to reach out to thousands of people around the world. And for us as a startup company that raise money and looking forward to push the product, it's not an easy journey, but you gave us this amazing platform. And I would like to say thank you to all of the people that was
Yeah.
writing us mails and helping us. And
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much for your
Yeah,
time. We
we are
appreciate that a
cheering.
lot.
We are cheering for you guys. I think this is a nice solution that could help. Yeah.
Yeah, we believe so too. That's
All
what
right.
that's what makes us get up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, get over with this Varroa already.
Yeah. Get rid of that thing. All right.
Yeah. All
One
right.
more time. Thank you guys
Thank
at
you.
home. Thank you guys for your time and see you guys in the
Thanks.
next one. Bye bye.
Wow.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.